What's up, y'all? This is Critic here, and today we're going to be reviewing episode 2 and 3 of Lovecraft Country. Now, I know I didn't do a review last week, but it's due to the DC fandom reactions that I've been doing. Make sure to check those out after this video. So let's just get into it right now. So I just have to say one thing about these 2 episodes. What the hell was going on, bro? I'm looking at these 2 episodes and now I'm like, where are we going? And I don't mean this as a bad thing, I mean this as like a good thing. Like last episode, we were getting to Atticus and meeting up with Uncle George and Letty. And they were going on a trip to find their father, I suppose. To find Atticus' father. But they getting chased by these white cops that kept on harassing them through the town, through the road, and now in the woods. But then they find out that there's these vampire pigs or whatever that shit is that was just eating them alive, that was eating these cops, and they ran inside the cabin. And then after that, they eventually like got away from the vampire pigs, and then all of a sudden they went to this random house and you see this white blonde man, and that's how the show ended. Episode 2, we'll just start with episode 2. Episode 2 is It started off with the Jeffersons theme, and they just living it up. Well, at least Uncle George and Letty were living it up. They were living it up. Letty was just taking a shower, trying on clothes, while Uncle George was reading books and getting all his clothes and having the time of their lives, right? But then Atticus was like, nah, something not right about this. My blackness is sensing something's wrong. So they get out of their rooms and they see this white blonde man again. And eventually we know his name is William. And William comes to them and speaks about Titus Breadwith. I think that's how you say the last name. And talks about the history of them owning the house that they were in, and how there was an original house, but that ended up being burned down and they had to rebuild it into what they are inside right now. But we know that the way they got the house was from slavery. After that, Atticus tries to talk to Letty and George about what happened in the woods, and for some reason they ended up forgetting. Atticus was like, are you for real? Did we not just see these vampires everywhere in the woods almost killing us? And then they like, nah. That I don't remember that happening. And then they had to talk to this lady who has been following him in the first episode, who we realize is Bedriff or whatever the name is. And she talks about their heritage and to use magic and all that. We realize she's the one that had manipulated their brains, Uncle George and Letty, on forgetting about what happened to them in the woods. And then what's even worse is in each of the rooms, Letty, Atticus, and George are all imagining what's going on in their heads. And then they had to overcome that in each of their rooms. And then while they overcoming those problems that they have in each of their rooms, you see like an audience, a white audience, just looking at them, laughing, having fun, drinking wine, all that. To me, I feel like that's a little bit of a message about like how, like, you know, like in sports we have like the NBA, the NFL, they trying to fight for their rights, you know, Black Lives Matter, and they trying to send their own type of message in their platform, which is basketball, which is football. But then the audience, the rich, are all saying like, nah man, you gotta do this, you can't talk about that, you need to forget about it, you talk about this, you crazy, we gonna manipulate you, we gonna make sure you don't talk about it, or else we gonna like destroy you in the media. And I feel like that's the way they try to portray it in this episode, when Uncle George came to them after all that and was like, don't let these fools manipulate you. They'll make you think you're crazy, but you're not crazy. You're trying to fight for what you're fighting for. That was really clever. That was a really good message to put in the episode. Anyway, Uncle George has a plan on how to get out of the house, because they both realize that Atticus is bloodline with the Bedriff family, and he basically orders the people that follow Bedriff to leave. And rewind all the way back because we're about to get to this dude Adam. This dude Adam, man. This dude Adam is wild, bro. We first see him getting his surgery with his kidney, and then we go back all the way to the dinner, and he want him to eat his kidney. And then Adam's like, nah, bro. I'm not listening to you. I'm a zealot. I'm gonna try to take away what you have that Titus gave you. And so Atticus and George and Letty try to find a way to get out the house. And then this Karen, this hillbilly, try to kill him or kill Uncle George and Atticus that were in the basement. We're her little dogs or whatever. But then Letty came out for the rescue and just boom, her head with the shovel. And I was like, yeah, Karen, laughing and whistling, trying to troll them. That's what you get. And so they find a way out the house, and they ended up finding Atticus' dad. And then they eventually go in the car. They go through a tunnel, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. The car crashes inside this invisible force, and you realize it's Miss Bedworth again, stopping them. And then Adam shoots Letty, and you're like, oh no! And then she shoots Uncle George, and you're like, no! Atticus ended up making a deal with Adam and Miss Bedworth. They healed Letty from the gun wound, but they say after they do the transformation or whatever they were doing, they were going to heal Uncle George. And so they do this ritual during Whitey's on the Moon speech that was playing in the background, the music. And then they do this ritual on Atticus. Atticus sees his mother, running away from the burning building, and then everything just bursts. Adam's starting to turn to stone. Everyone started to turn into stone. The house is just going down. Everyone's leaving. Uncle George, Atticus' dad, Letty, they all left. And Atticus sees Letty next to a car. They really took him out, man. They took Uncle George out.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It was only 2 episodes, and they killed him. That was just sad, man. And that was just episode 2. That was it. And episode 2 felt like a season finale, surprisingly, because everything just happening so quickly. And you're like, dang, what's gonna happen next? I'm really intrigued what's gonna happen. And so we go to episode 3. This is where things start to get really crazy. So at first I thought episode 3 was a flashback because we see Letty in church with her attire on for church, crying. And you don't know what's going on until you see Atticus meets up with his dad in Uncle George's place. And then they talk about you can't tell Hippolyta, you can't tell Diana what happened. We can't tell anyone. He got shot by a sheriff. That's it. We can't say nothing about Uncle George. That really happened. And so while that's happening, Letty is buying this house, which looked like a haunted house. And then the sister comes and is like, I don't know about this house. This house look kind of dirty and haunted. I don't know. And the lady's like, no, we should buy it. We gonna bring the whole neighborhood here. We gonna bring a whole black community. They gonna have homes. It's gonna be a great time. So Letty ends up buying the house. Atticus started having problems with his dad once again, and then Atticus leaves. Atticus meets up with Letty, and Letty was like, maybe you should be here for a couple days. And while Letty is just looking around the house, seeing what's going on, these suspicious things is happening inside the house. Everything, the elevator that they have in the house is not working correctly. Have something going on inside the basement. All these mysterious things is going on. You don't know what's happening. And so while Letty is letting the black community come inside the house she brought, these racist folks come in and start annoying them by beeping their horns. And you're like, get the freak out of here. Leave them alone. Then one day Letty is in bed in the morning, and the covers just goes down to her feet. You're like, what's going on? And you see this black lady coming up, and her mouth just gone, and you're like, ugh. And then Letty noticed something really weird is happening. Letty's starting to get really angry because she sees a burning cross in front of her house during a party. So Letty comes out with a baseball bat and just boom, burst all these cars, taking all these bricks off the horn. So of course the police shows up right then and there, and then they had to put their hands up. Then after that, Letty goes back to her house because she don't get arrested or nothing. She goes inside the basement with her photos, and then she sees something weird with the photos, and it starts showing a face, and then a ghost pops up and be like, get out the house now. And then Letty's all shook. She's like, let me get out of here, let me leave. Lady talks to Atticus about it. They bring in the exorcist lady, in the basement, and this when things got really wild. Everything's like flying around, all that. Meanwhile, the white folks try to sneak in trying to kill Eddie, but then the ghost came and ended up killing him. Back to the ritual stuff. Lady, the Atticus, and Letty all like do these rituals to stop the ghost. Stops. And then they went inside the lady, and she started having black eyes, and then she attacks Atticus, and then Atticus starting to attack Letty. And then Journey had like a really good performance in that scene, because she was like, no, you will not manipulate my man. You not gonna manipulate all the people that you haunted. We gonna come together and take you out the house now. Leave, you leave. And the ghost ended up dying. She got the house. And then the last scene they showed was with Atticus coming back to the south side of Chicago, going into the building, and then they see Miss Bedworth again. Atticus tries to shoot her, but then her magic powers, she's like freezing him up, telling him a story about the family crest, their family history, and that was that. Now I say this to say this, everything is just crazy. These 2 episodes were like ridiculous and great. I really like it, man. I know some people, this might turn them off because it's a little jumpy with the like storytelling. It's more of characters. It's more about the characters than the plot, really. So if you're into that, the show's for you. But if you're more into like plot, I don't know, you could still give it a shot because it's like great performances. But I understand if you're not into it. I can't wait to see what happens in episode 4 because I don't know what's about to happen. And that will be my review. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Look at my other DC fandom reactions that I put out the past week. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.